TIFU I accidentally used a slur for an entire afternoon. So I'm a volunteer farmer and I was helping to build an irrigation system over a series of garden beds. As I'm working, I see a faucet coming out of the ground. And as I work, I refer to it with the word my grandpa used to call it as I grew up. A certain four-letter slur for Latino people that starts with S. And nobody corrects me. It isn't until the end of the afternoon when I'm talking to the head farmer that I use that term to refer to it, and he pauses. Farmer, what did you just say? Quote. Me. And then we just hook it up to the SP, right? Quote. Farmer. You mean the spigot? Quote. Me. Quote. Spigot? My grandpa always called it SP. Farmer. Well, I think your grandpa might have been a little racist. And then it all clicked. And now I want to bury myself alive. As a bonus, when we were leaving, he was handing volunteers suckers. When he got to me, he looked at the bag and said, "Oh, you probably don't want the brown one, do you?" Quote. Yeah, I'm gonna go hide now. TLDR. Accidentally called a spigot a slur for Latino people to a group of volunteers. Edit. Thank you to everyone that reassured me that this has no racist origin at all. Apparently, my southern gramps just says spigot instead of spigot and shortened it. So no racist grandpa. Also, I censored the word to avoid the post being potentially taken down. But to clarify, replace the 2 stars with IK, and you have our word. While saying spigot isn't bad as I know now, I'm not going to shorten it anymore to avoid confusion, lol. The spigot bigot. That's very spigoted of you. One of my friends from work was from South Carolina. She hadn't know what jerry rigging was because her parents had always referred to it as N-rigging. Growing up in the South, everyone called in a spigot. My grandpa moved in with us towards the end of his life when he wasn't all there anymore. It was a bit shocking when we were going to the grocery store and he said wanted Uncle Ben grits by referring to them as N-mush. I shouldn't be laughing, but you must be mortified. It sounds like your grandpa probably shortened spigot to spig and you thought the G was AC. Unless he did purposefully change it to AC. Sure hope not. That's okay. I called my mom a hooker once. I didn't know what it meant, but I thought it was the word for Grim Reaper. I don't know why I was calling her the Grim Reaper either. Years ago, I was out to lunch with a couple of friends and I was telling them about my black cat. Spook. They looked wildly at me and said, like the racial slur? I had no idea and felt very embarrassed. Lol. The head farmer was ribbing you by asking about your not wanting the brown one. Goes to show how mild your offense was. Most Hispanics I know. I'm married into a family and have many friends and coworkers. Wouldn't even have paused. Especially as you meant no harm. Growing up, I always thought the word was spigot. That was the way it was pronounced to me as a child. I do feel bad for you as I am sure that was an embarrassing situation. Is it possible you just never heard your grandpa right? They sound pretty close. Not American. No idea what the 4-letter word is. So a spigot is just another older word for spigot. I'm here to defend your grandpa's honor. I've heard old men calling it this when I was growing up. Yikes. I'm so sorry. My grandfather had a horse named N. Guess what color it was? Luckily we can do better going forward. I still can't get my head around the name of a lime leaf used in Asian cooking. Terrible word used in apartheid South Africa for black people. Till that's a word. Thanks. Try growing up in the Midwest, where many people shorten the word raccoon while talking about actual raccoons. And then yourself talking about raccoons getting into a tent to someone who happens to have darker skin than you, and who thankfully was also kind enough to first look at you funny and then tell you that you should just say the full word, raccoons. I had to Google it, but I learned about a racist term that day, grimace. While entirely unintentional, I have heard a spigot referred to as a spig before. In the same manner, a carburetor is called a carb. Racism had nothing to do with it. Unfortunately, the G and the K can sound very similar in speech. Don't beat yourself up over it too much. We learn and we move on. It's not like you were telling racist jokes the entire time you were volunteering. This is cringe, I bet. But at least you know now. He also knows that elders teach the youngers what they think is right. So he may have some sympathy for you.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.